Hey everyone, and welcome to the second part of how to animate Cordia. In this video, we're gonna learn how we can animate the funnel along with the chart animation in Adobe After Effects. So without any further ado, let's just start. Alright, so here we are inside of Adobe After Effects, and in the first part we have made this animation. And now what we need to do for the second step is that we want to recreate this funnel along with the particles and the chart animation that we have in here. Alright, so let's proceed with it. So I'm just gonna hide the reference. So before that, let me just show it one more time to you and demonstrate what will happen in the second scene. So as you see, we will have this coin, and the coin will morph into sort of this funnel, and then we have a simple outgoing animation with the scale and opacity, and we have this grid, and the grid itself is a bit tricky to make, and I'm gonna show it to you how. And then we have just a changing scene into the third scene. All right, so in here I have the funnel, but first let's just work on the coin animation. So if I open the coin, you will see that in the first part I have just applied the standard easings and the movement is not really good. So I'm just gonna select the position keyframes, and I'm gonna press Shift plus F3 to go towards the graph editor. And now we can just hit the fit graph to view so we can see the entire graph. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to select the first keyframe and I'm going to drag it towards right like this. So this will create a sort of a build up for the coin. And then what we can do is that we can just simply select the second keyframe and we can just drag it towards left, and then third keyframe to the right. So this will create this movement for our animation. And so let's just select everything so we can see it. Okay, now let's just watch. So as you see now, it looks way better compared to what it was before. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna select everything and I'm gonna pre-compose it. And let's just call it scene 001. So this is going to be our first scene. And now when the coin hits the sort of the podium for the last time, which is in here, we need to cut the composition. So I'm just gonna hold Alt and close bracket to cut the end of the composition. And I'm just gonna hide the reference from now on. We don't need it anymore. Okay, so this is going to be the first scene. Now I have the funnel design in here. So let's just bring the composition in here. And as you see, it's a bit different from what we have in the original Cordia design, but it will serve the purpose that we want to, recreate this animation. So the first thing that we need to do is that we need to change the color. So I'm just gonna apply a tint effect, and let's just get the colors. So something like this, and I'm gonna just cut the tint effect, and I'm gonna paste it to the funnel layers. All right, this is good. Now let's just select the layers and let's just animate them. And I'm gonna press P to do a position. I'm gonna go 20 frames forward, and I'm gonna set another keyframe. And let's just select the layers, and I'm gonna push them above the first slice of the tunnel. All right, let's apply the standard easings. Let's just set the easings on 60%. So as you see, this will be our main animation that goes something like this. Okay, this is good. Now let's just offset these keyframes by 2 frames. Great, so this is perfect, but we also need to create a bit anticipation for the first sort of slice of this funnel. So to do that, what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna select everything. I'm gonna parent it to the position of the for this first slice of the funnel. And what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna go 10 frames forward this time, and I'm gonna bring it down a bit, so something like this. All right, and I'm gonna reverse these keyframes. So, and we can just select them and push it a bit up. So let's just turn down the movement a bit, and let's just start it from here. Okay, this seems super nice. And now when it's in here, we're just gonna position it to here. And let's just scale it a bit so it matches the original design. And now we're gonna just cut the beginning of it to complete the morph animation. So as you see, the animation was done. So what we need to do is that I'm just gonna set the beginning of it in here, because on the funnel we have started the animation at 0. All right. Bit. Alright, so this is the basic animation, and I'm gonna add a deep glow effect. Now to get rid of the edges, what we can do is that we can just set the composition on rasterize, and now we can just tune down the exposure and radius at the same time. Okay, so this is good. Now let's get into animating the particles. Well, to do that, I'm gonna just add a solid layer in here, and let's just call it the particles. Now on the next step, what we need to do is that we need to add the CC particles board effect. All right, so we will have these particle effect that we need to modify it. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm just going to open the particle, and I'm going to change the particle type from the line to, let's say, faded sphere. So this is good. Now let's just open the physics, and I'm going to tune down the velocity, let's say on 0.5, and then I'm just going to increase the gravity a bit to, let's say, to 1. So as you see right now, it looks really fast. So I'm just going to decrease the birth size to 0. And also I'm just going to decrease the death size as well. And we can just tune down the birth rate a bit as well. So we'll have something like this, and we can just increase the longevity a bit. So this will give us the results. However, we need to, still tune down the gravity a bit. So this will allow us to have the tune down the speeding a bit. But if you pay attention on the reference, I think the particles were going up, not down. So as you see, the particles are just, sort of flat at this point. Some of them going up, some of them going down. So this is just something that is close to what we have in the original concept. So I'm just going to push it through out the funnel. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to add a fill effect, and I'm going to just set it on white, something like this. And now we can just tune down the birth size along with the longevity. So as you see, this is the closest thing that we can do to the original reference. So now what I need to do is that I just need to simply, place this layer in here. And then when the sort of the funnel starts to reveal itself, we will have this animation like this, which is good. Now all you need to do for the last step is that you need to add the deep glow effect. So this will allow you to sort of make the effect better. Now here's the animation that we have so far, and it is time to sort of do a quick transition and move towards the animating the chart. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna press S to reveal the scale, and then I'm just gonna go 50 frames forward, and I'm gonna tune down the scaling. However, I'm just gonna press J to go towards the first keyframe, and I will animate the opacity in between as well. And then I'm just going to apply the standard easings. So this is going to be the outgoing animation. And in here, I'm just going to also animate the opacity for the particles. So this will be the outgoing transition. Now in here, it's time to design the chart. So I'm just going towards the pen tool, and let's just turn off the fill, and let's set the stroke to 2 pixels. The white color should be fine. And I'm gonna draw a straight line like this. Great. So we will have something like this. And when it's the animation about here, all we need to do is that we need to set a keyframe on scale. Let's set the anchor point on the left side, and we can just animate the X value for about 12 frames. So we will have this animation. Great. Now it is time to sort of design the grid. So if I reveal the reference, you will see that in here the sort of the grid is a bit different. We have some tapering line at the beginning, and in the middle everything is a bit shinier compared to the edges. So we need to make that animation, and I'm gonna just reveal this line to design the grids. So in order to do that, what we're gonna do is that we're just gonna set the anchor point. So let's just rename this one into line, and I'm gonna just duplicate this one, and I'm gonna place it in here, and let's just call it grid so we don't confuse it. Now let's just call it grid, and I'm gonna set the anchor point in the middle, and let's just remove its keyframe, we don't need it. So let's just zoom in a bit, and what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to go towards the content, shape 1, and then what you need to do is that you need to open this stroke in taper section. You can just set the start tapering on 50%, so you will get that line that you want, something like this. And we can just increase the end length as well. So this is going to be something like so. This is going to be exactly like the line that we wanted. And now to replicate it, what you need to do is that you need to add a repeater. And I'm gonna open the repeater. Let's just set the number of copies to 5. And let's just open the transform of the repeater. And we're gonna set the X position on 0. However, we're gonna increase the Y position to, let's say here. That should be good. Now we're gonna duplicate this grid. We're gonna place it in here, and we're gonna rotate it for 90 degrees. And now what we need to do is that we just simply need to increase the number of copies on the repeater. Okay, this looks decent. And I'm gonna pre-compose it, and I'm gonna call it grid. All right, this looks good. Now when we have the first line of the chart, we can just use the opacity to reveal the grid as well. Super good. And now let's just design the last part of the composition, which was the sort of the rectangles. So let me just see the original color so I can just choose it better. So this is going to be our main color. Great, we don't need this reference anymore, so let's just delete it. And let's just draw some charts. Great, let's just select them. Let's set the anchor point on down, and we can turn off the chaining option for each one of them. And we can just set the keyframe for the scale, 50 frames forward. Let's just set them on 0. And we can just reverse the keyframes because we want to reverse the animation. And we can just apply the standard easings. So we will have something like this. Now, in order to make it better, what we can do is that we can just simply offset the keyframes a bit. Great. Now on the last step, what we need to do is that I'm gonna just pre-compose these layers, and I'm gonna call it chart, and we are going to set it on 3D. Alright, now once it's set on 3D, we can add a camera animation. So this is going to be our main camera, and I'm gonna add a camera controller node. And let's just set the Panity camera 1 into camera controller. And what we simply can do when it's in here, we can just press R to reveal the rotation, and we can just rotate it along the, as you see, Y axis. So before we do that, it will be really wise to first unparent the camera for a while. So we can change the null position to here. We're gonna just set this anchor point on middle as well, and then we're gonna reparent it again. So in that way, when we change the chart, it will look better compared to what we have in here. Alright, so this is the chart that we have. Let's just make sure that the chart is in the place. Right now it's a bit up. So let's just pull the chart a bit down. Okay, this is good. And now what we need to do is that we're just simply gonna animate the rotation for the chart. So I'm just gonna set it on 90 degree, and I'm gonna set the influence on 60%. But once it's in here, we're gonna just cut chart like this. So that will finish the scene and it will prepare it for the third scene. Alright, so here we are at the end of this video, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave out a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Thank you so much. Goodbye.